Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Sorry for the wait. Apparently, you have to hit start streaming to actually start your stream on YouTube. Who knew? Who knew? First thing for everything, guys. If it isn't me muting my mic, it's forgetting to hit start stream. Apologize for the 10-minute wait, guys. Brian and I got like 5 minutes deep, and then I realized, holy crap, my stream isn't on. I'm a dunce. So, welcome, welcome to another AMA with me, TheGobOne, aka Ryan. I have Brian Gallagher, the CEO of Insights Network, with me. Brian, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Hello, everyone.
Let's do the disclaimer version 2. If you guys haven't seen one of my AMAs before, I like to read a disclaimer ahead so you guys know what you're dealing with. It's not financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I've not received any payment for this interview. Questions can be asked by using the Menti link in the description, or you can go to menti.com and use the link you see on the screen, or the number I should say. Questions about exchanges will be ignored as per usual. All right, round 2, Brian, let's go. Here we go. Let's talk about Insights Network at a high level, in case we have some new viewers who don't know what Insights is. So give us maybe the elevator pitch for Insights Network.
Absolutely. So what we're building is a blockchain-based data exchange. So we're providing all of the users with a digital wallet where they can stream, import, manage all of the data that they generate on the internet, and then be able to earn Instar tokens by consensually exchanging this data with willing purchasers. There's a lot of things and items in the news about Facebook and how consumer data is currently being handled improperly. And so we're really excited that we're bringing this product to market at such a relevant time with upcoming regulations and consumer awareness growing by the day.
Yeah, you touched on the regulations. I want to come back to that later on and talk to you about that, because that's a big one that's coming down the pipe in I think a month or something, right? So
yeah, May 25th.
May 25th. Yeah, maybe let's touch on that. Oh, we're go off course, guys. Go ahead and touch on that a bit, just so that people understand how important it is to be compliant with this new regulation, because it's a biggie.
Yeah, so as much as I want to be able to answer this instantly, I need to give a little backstory also. So the way that we got involved with this project was by creating a consumer app called Gambeel. And it was very simple. You can still download it in iOS. You upload receipts from your dining experiences and take instant quick surveys to receive fiat rewards. So we would give about $0.25 per receipt and survey. The business model we thought was going to be something along the lines of McDonald's will want to pay money to advertise that you can take surveys and upload receipts. But what we quickly found out is there was a much easier client to deal with, which is a client called the data broker. And so data brokers would be one person that we could dump all of the receipts on. They would pay for it, and then they'd go their own merry way and process this data and sell it multiple times over to multiple different clients. But and we started to really gain traction, and we were getting tens of thousands of transactions a day on a good day. And then what happened is we started to understand the data brokerage market more and started to learn about sort of the secret way this industry functions, and that is the way they process data and sell it to their clients, which a lot of the consumers definitely probably would not approve of if they were aware where their information is going to. So that's how we saw this great opportunity to decentralize and automate the process of data brokerage, which was very much an industry we were a part of. And then upcoming regulations were the final straw for us, where the business model of processing data and handling it in ways where the consumer doesn't really know what's happening or not necessarily consenting after the first transaction. That was where the business model was a dead end, even with all the traction. And so what the regulations say is that if you are processing a consumer's data without their direct consent, you can be fined up to 4% of your turnover, or maximum $10 million on the first violation, $20 million on the second violation. And if you continue to violate this type of law, then your company's entire existence would be in jeopardy. So this is the time to build what we're building. There's no doubt about it. And so I saw some of the questions are what's the marketing plan? So we can also touch on that a bit later because it's so relevant and timely that definitely has something to do with our marketing plan.
Yeah, the whole Facebook stuff. I think people are wanting you to champion the cause and go blast Facebook, etc. and stuff. But people have to realize there's a plan in place and be patient. So, all right, let's talk about the announcements you guys made yesterday. There's a few, right? So I know you guys released the wallet, and there's all kinds of good stuff, which you can find on their Medium blog, guys, which you should follow for every one of these stuff that you get involved in, because it's a very good source of information. But I'll let you take it away now, Brian.
Yeah, so we did release the first version of the Instar wallet. It's a very basic demonstration of our product and what's to come. We lined up our first few partners for the data exchange, which are a few awesome upcoming blockchain projects, such as the Signals Network, PIN Protocol, and Open Garden. And what we accomplished that's especially important is we demonstrated the utility of our token for the first time. So these projects purchased Instar tokens from the free market, and then they placed them as a request for data into the exchange, which is a very simple request. It was you could earn 25 Instar tokens for trading your name and email and ETH address with these projects. And then you would receive the tokens in exchange. So we've seen the token being used for its purpose. And we're also excited to then announce the user numbers, which are very great. We had 100,000 people sign up for this before it even launched. 40,000 of those have already completed our Know Your Customer anti-money laundering check. So what's also really important about that is, the first step of a consumer entering the data exchange is they have to become validated. And so we added our first data validation partner, in the long-term relationship, which is NetVerify by Jumio, who handles the identity verification. So that's extremely important because the first step in a user's journey into the Insights Network is getting verified. And so we're able to establish a long-term relationship with an amazing company based out of California, the San Francisco Bay Area, NetVerify. And so on April 5th, we'll be doing some joint press release stuff with them. So we have a whole sort of rollout, over the next month.
Now I notice on the blog post there is like the Android app is out. Do you have any ETA on the iPhone or the iOS version of that?
Yeah, Android's been released. iOS is actually just as far along as Android. It's just pending Apple approval. Apple is much slower to approve applications. When they usually always have a list of questions for you when you submit. And then it takes them 3 days to respond after you provide your response. And we expect a few rounds of that.
Yeah, Apple's notorious for that stuff. So
that's not necessarily any predicting when they'll actually come around. But the good news is the code and the production of the app is at the same pace as Android, and it always will be.
Awesome. Okay, let's go to the questions. If you guys do have questions on Menti, upvote the ones you like, ask new ones. I'm going to tell you guys right now, we're not going to ask questions about the price of the token. That is determined by the secondary market. That has nothing to do with the Instar team and what they're doing. They don't control the price. So I'm not even going to ask that because it's not fair to ask that. Next question. What are your plans for marketing? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Let's dig right into that.
Awesome. So we're doing our first press release with NetVerify, talking about our data validation partner. And so that's going out April 5th. We've just begun really to do public marketing. During the crowd sale, we were very much under the sort of promise that we're going to be just doing organic growth and community marketing, and we're not going to be out there necessarily shilling our project to try to solicit people to come and purchase their way into the data exchange. And so we did more than accomplish our goal there. We were able to close our hard cap. And so now, now that we've demonstrated the actual utility of our token, we're going to be getting very active. So I actually just got off a podcast The Blockchain Show podcast was a couple hours ago. I think that's going to be going live next week, so we'll be posting the link. We're headed off to Europe in a couple weeks to really start hitting the ground and the pavement, to start preaching about the GDPR and how we're offering a turnkey solution. We'll be speaking at a lot of events coming up. And in terms of consumer and user growth, we're going to be adding a lot more people to the data exchange. And these people essentially are advertising to all of their user bases to go participate as well. So it's a great growth funnel for us. And then I don't know if it's necessarily marketing, but we're rolling out surveys very quickly. So now that we've sort of debuted this product, you're going to see rapid iteration and a rapid feature release from here on out. There's really not going to be delays or dry periods. It's going to be a constant work in progress. So we're really excited about that. I have an amazing meeting in New York City next week that I'm super, super excited about, that has to do with surveys and data management in a digital environment. So we're really just hitting the ground running on all fronts right now. And so we'll be communicating it as we go.
Perfect. And now I know there was a question, it's not the next question, but it leads into our next part. So I'm going to ask it next, and that is, essentially, you guys released version 1 of the wallet. So what's sort of your next steps in terms of product development? Now, I know you guys did put some stuff on your GitHub the other day, maybe it was yesterday too as well, right?
Yeah, so a lot of, we actually open sourced our GitHub. Right now, it's only showing our crowd sale contracts. Let's see if I can get the link for you guys. GitHub.com/insights -network/instar. So you can take a look at our crowd sale contracts. We got a lot of compliments from QuantStamp that it was some of the most clean code they've received from the people they've been working with. So it felt good to hear that. So we're happy to publish them, publish them and help teams who maybe would want to use this type of contract in the future. So it's all there, and then we're going to start to release our other contracts as we go. So there's a bit of a toy version of some SMC stuff we've been working on that we may publish. And so if you just mark that page, you can keep up to progress on what's going on the coding side of things. In terms of, so there's two layers to the development of our project. There's the consumer-facing stuff, which are the applications, and then there's the infrastructure. So we are building a lot of infrastructure. And so for the consumers, the next step is surveys, like I mentioned. So we're going to be rolling out surveys very soon. And when I mean very soon, we're thinking, within a couple weeks. And we're going to be bringing on some big-time survey partners who have access to, hundreds of requesters that are always targeting audiences for surveys. So that's going to be really exciting for the users, because we're going to be, the goal is to give you a constant flow of activities you can be participating in. So that's where our head is at consumer stuff right now, is really pounding the pavement for the survey stuff. And then simultaneously, I mentioned I'm working on getting some things set up for data management inside the app. So internet data you're generating on a consistent basis, such as how much time you're spending on your internet browsers, things like that. The idea is to stream everything into your wallet so that you have this dashboard that you can constantly view and see what you're doing, and then take actions based on what you may notice. A lot of us spend 16 hours a day on the internet, and when we actually see it written and being told to us, we may be concerned about ourselves and decide to take an hour off. So that's the idea. Sort of create this Fitbit style digital wallet where everything is manageable and visible, and you have this dashboard so that you can iterate your life and change things.
Awesome. Okay, I want to touch on people wondering why I'm not asking about exchanges, and it's right in my disclaimer, guys, and that's because maybe they are applying to exchanges, and some of the rules at these exchanges is you can't talk about it. It's just one of the things. So asking Brian about that is actually hurting their chances. So I mean, I'm not going to ask that. it's gonna happen when it happens, if it happens. So you guys have to be patient. I know that's not the answer people want to hear, but it's the world we live in, and it's no different than any other AMA I do. I'm not going to ask, hey, when Binance? It's just not fair. So
A lot of
yeah, go ahead.
things, a lot of some feedback maybe I can give from what I see on my end of things here is one of the things that these other companies are most interested in is seeing that communities, supportive, active communities, are a part of any project that they're going to participate with. So being supportive of projects on the internet and, you know, tweeting and things like that, and showing that the community is engaged, and that's really what pushes these things. So I think we have an amazing community and everyone is out there and active. So just continuing to be active, you know, tweeting. And if you have a company that you want us to work with, exchange or any type of company, tweet them. Say you should work with @Instar Token. You know, bring attention to our project. That's how we get things done. As a community with as many people as we have, if you're out there and you're tweeting at people and saying, talk to Instar Token, do this with Instar Token, that's how it drives their attention and moves us up the queue for anything. And that's any type of partnership. If you have a data company that you think, you know, should partner with Instar Token, just hammer them, you know, send tweets, let Instar Token know. And then, you know, things happen. That's the beauty of blockchain community projects.
Exactly. There you go, guys. We can make a difference if we just add all these exchanges and say, hey, look, work with Instar. Let's go. Okay, so the next question asks how you're going to face the SEC regulatory laws. I'm not even going to ask you to answer that because A, you guys have a utility token, which is proven by the wallet. And B, this has nothing to do with the SEC, but you guys are GDPR compliant. So I don't see how the SEC is going to have any issues with what you guys are doing. So I wanted to put that out there and answer that one. Okay. Are you, yeah, this is going to tie into two separate questions. Maybe what's the next iteration for the Instar? Like you have a wallet version 2. You talked about that, right? Like you're going to incorporate with the surveys and the people who can buy up these tokens and get into the data flow. But somebody wants to know if you're planning on a roadmap update.
Absolutely. So I have roadmaps for both the infrastructure and the consumer app. We're going to be out in Denmark in a week or two, and the whole team is going to be there because we have some guys in Europe, and so the rest of us are here. And so I want to just, you know, before I release the roadmaps, I want to make sure that the whole team is all in complete agreement before we go out and make that promise. The good news is they're actually ahead of schedule. So I just talked with our team today regarding the wallet, and we're about a month ahead of schedule. So we were actually saying that we should probably have the surveys and the profiles and everything rolled out in 30 days or less. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Originally, we didn't want to have the wallet. We always want to have it, you know, out as fast as possible. So that's not the right word. We didn't. The roadmap, we would probably have the whole wallet done, but it's going to be a bit earlier than that. The only thing is the transfer function with tokens is very interesting because, you know, as you know, we're updating our blockchain to EOS eventually. And so there's a lot of complications there about, you know, building in a wallet transfer function when we're moving over. And that mainnet isn't planned to launch until June. So how the wallet and the token transfer function will work still needs to be finalized because there's really no point of spending too much time building an Ethereum-based mobile wallet if it's just going to be transferred out. So that's to be determined. But in terms of the surveys and the profiles and the rest of the app, that will all be done about a month ahead of schedule. So it should be done by the start of May rather than the end of May. And something else we're actually talking about is integrating end-to-end encrypted messaging for the users. So that was a new feature we thought about. But with everything going on with Facebook, and we realized we're building out these profiles and letting you participate in surveys, we decided that maybe we should integrate messaging as well and let the users start to just communicate in the app. So we're super excited about all the consumer stuff going on.
Perfect. I'm just going through some of the questions here, clicking off one of the ones we've answered and some of the ones that are I'm not familiar with what these guys are asking. So there's a question here. What methods of spreading the word will be used during the marketing period since SMPC is completely unknown to the public?
Something we talked about as a team is maybe rebranding SMPC. It's a bit of a boring, when you say secure multi-party computation, it doesn't really mean.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Yeah.
And so what we decided is we're going to work on rebranding that to make sense when you say it to someone. And so that's, in the works, but we certainly need to rebrand, I think, the technical name of what we're doing. I've seen some other projects like secret contracts was a way that maybe they rebranded it, but really it's a multi-party computation that they're talking about. At least I think that's what they're going for. So we're going to rebrand it and then start to spread the message about how it works in a more consumer-friendly way. So the PR just began to roll out. So we just got featured on the Scope Weekly today. We were on what was the other article we got? So we've gotten 2 good articles, and we just started. We hired an amazing PR firm. So we got our first 2 articles. They're working some big lead stories on some more mainstream, well-known press with the whole Facebook Cambridge Analytica thing going on. Journalists have taken interest. And so as we begin to, a PR is really a snowball effect. You need to get a few articles, and then journalists see that you've already gotten a few articles, and then you're kind of cool, and they're willing to maybe run some more stories about you. And so we're going to keep the storyline going about what we're building that's GDPR compliant, why it's way better than the current model, using the Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal as sort of the easy thing to point to demonstrate exactly what we're talking about. And then as the conversation progresses, we imagine it can get more technical from there. And so I think that would be more of the time where we start talking about what is MPC and maybe rebranding it to be more friendly for consumers. Because ideally, the end result is that consumer awareness is raised well enough, and companies like Facebook or Google, consumers will start to demand a different method of data storage as well. Because with the centralized storage methods, there's this single point of failure. Over and over, we've been hacked and our information's been jeopardized. So the goal is really to raise enough consumer awareness where consumers can demand a technical solution too, which is, hey, start using MPC when you trade data, start storing information in distributed web. At this point, you can't expect the mainstream consumer to demand something like that.
No, they won't care at this time.
But there will come a day.
Somebody is asking. Oh, there are no articles out yet, right? I think somebody's wanting to see the articles. Are there? Okay, yeah. People are asking for links to them, so I suspect you probably can find them on the website or the blog, right?
Yeah. So if you go to our Telegram, we've posted them, and then we have an announcement channel. But our Telegram is t.me/insights network. And then our announcements channel, let's see what that's called. It is t.me/insights network ANN. And so we keep everything posted there. So we have a Bankless Times article that went out. The Scope Weekly just covered us today. And this is all in the last 24, 48 hours. So
it's wrapping up, hey?
Yeah, we're ramping up. We launched the app, and it's going to be nonstop from here on out. We're rapidly iterating the product and going to be doing continuous release. We're going to be really hitting the PR hard, and then onboarding survey partners and more. So
good stuff. Okay, getting pounded with questions about pre-sale bonuses, guys. That's not information I don't feel we should ask Brian on the live stream. I can talk to you guys about it afterwards, but there's nothing. People are just looking for an excuse as to why the token is where it is. But again, that's not anything to do with Instar or Insights, the team. It's the market. It is what it is. There's no control in that stuff. There was a great question I saw, a really great question I want to ask. Oh, are there any use cases that you would like to see worked out but don't have the current manpower to achieve?
Yeah, so mentioning the current manpower, it's really geared towards the data exchange. and building the infrastructure to support that. But when the data exchange, or excuse me, when the infrastructure is ready, there are actually a lot of various use cases. Voting is definitely one we're super interested in, because as I mentioned, the key to the Insights Network data exchange is that everyone's verified. So if everyone's verified and can participate in things and have only certain pieces of information known to be shared, that means they can participate in voting. And that means that the voting results are recorded on the blockchain. So that means the voting results are fully transparent and can't be tampered with. So we know the users are all real, and they're not a person taking a dead person's social security number and registering at the local poll, and that happens. You can really look that up. That happens. So that type of activity can't occur, and so the voting will be more accurate. There will be a lower margin of error, and you don't have to rely on Fox News or CNN to tell you what the results were. You can simply have software engineers running software that make sure the results are counted properly based off the blockchain ledger. So voting to me seems super impactful. Another thing that is interesting is I don't want to necessarily call it email, but with what we're building, there's this opportunity because we're doing basically secure data exchange. It seems to me that someone could leverage this to pass secure documents. Like, say if someone wants you to email your passport, maybe there's a new way to send the passport so that it's not sitting in a Gmail server, or you don't have to run special encryption to make sure your message can only be opened by an individual party.
So you're talking about like secure messaging then, right?
Secure exchange. I still say it's a secure data exchange because you're exchanging a document, which is data when it's digitally generated. But it's just a different way of use, right? So, but then another one that's really cool, I think, is auction as well. So, silent auction and bidding. It's an AML KYC verified person, so you know that they're not money laundering and that they're trusted in this network. So maybe you place your Picasso painting up and you let them bid it out in a transparent way where that this person won the bid and they're a verified person, and then that exchange can happen. That one to me seems intriguing. I don't think necessarily we'll ever attack that, but the software could be leveraged for that, definitely.
There you go. Interesting. Okay, that was a great question, by the way, whoever asked that. So
really good question.
All right. I'm not really seeing any unique questions.
I saw a good one. If you don't mind, if I answer that one.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying.
Asked if Jesper or even Domgard, who are part of the Partisia team, would want to get out and speak about how SMC is being built and leveraged here. And what I can say to that is they have been Ivan Domgard. I don't know if I'm terming this necessarily correctly, but he sort of created the initial blueprints for the technology in 1980. And Jesper has been working since 2004 on commercializing this method of cryptography. And so their mission and what drives them is commercializing this cryptography method. So absolutely, they would love to be out there speaking about it and would plan to when the opportunities come up. Yeah, that's what drives them in this project. That's what motivates them is getting the message out about what this software is and what it can do. So certainly.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I saw that question, but I didn't really need to see the connection. So let me just check this question out. Oh, okay. This is kind of a broad question, but I like it anyway. As organizational partnerships are a must to have good process for verification, how large do you envision the partnership pool needs to be in order to function properly? Like, I guess they're asking, do you need massive amount of partners for this to be successful?
Yeah. I think I know what they're going for here. So I think ideally between 100 to 1,000 partners could probably satisfy most of the requirements of what data would need to be validated. So let's say a user, because I don't know if for anyone who hasn't seen our token mechanism, the ecosystem tokens that we've put aside are there to incentivize users to import data into the network. So something that maybe a user would want to import would be their income level, because then they can be more highly targeted by surveyors who may be interested in surveying a certain pool of income level individuals. And so by placing that information into the network, you maybe get 20 tokens, let's just say. But the thing is, we would need a data validation partner to ensure that that's accurate information. Because if we just let you put it in and give you tokens, the platform would fail, would have a failure based on civil attacks and things like that, where fake accounts start getting made and just hacking into tokens. So it doesn't work. So that's how, I guess that's an example I can give you about to help the community understand how a data validation partner functions and why it's important. And so you talk about payroll levels. You can talk about someone like MasterCard validating data based on credit history or something along those lines. And so Axiom, which is one of the largest data brokers, has about 1,500 data points on each of us. And they're not all necessarily validated. They just scrape from different sources. But basically, if we can validate 1,500 data points about a user, there is nothing else that is needed in terms of having a fully hyper-targetable audience. And the user can determine how hyper-targeted they want to be. And the tokens are motivation for that. So Axiom will collect 1,500 data points on you regardless of whether or not you want them to. The Insights Network, it's your choice how much information is used and allowed to be used for targeting.
Gotcha. All right, perfect. All right, I think that is about our time. We wanted to keep this to about a half an hour's time. I'm going to give you a chance to just kind of make a closing statement, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, awesome. So in closing, I think what I'll say is what I've noticed about the projects and blockchain industry so far, as someone who was more of a Silicon Valley startup guy for the last 5 years, there's a couple key differences. The first key difference is that it is a community-based project. So there's a lot more people involved and a lot more stakeholders. In Silicon Valley, you have your investors, your team, and then you're just building privately. Here, it's very much we have our community and the team who's sort of leading the development of this community-based project. But everyone's involved, and so it's a lot more active, and there's a lot more constant feedback coming in. So it's super important that we keep maintaining that feedback loop and that everyone keeps staying involved, because it's so much more powerful and there's such a better network effect when everyone's spreading the word together. And so we really appreciate everyone that's already been a part of our community, and we look forward to continuing to grow. To address the current state of the market, it's definitely not in a happy place that everyone's super excited about. But the key for us is that it's the same team and the same vision, and nothing's changed. And we're actually rapidly building product faster than our roadmap and much faster than most of the people we could consider our competition. And so we're focused on building, and we're going to continue to do so. And I think that in the end, the results speak for themselves, and they're going to be successful based on the product and what we're delivering and the partnerships. So we're over here just working and building the product, and that's doing everything we can. So for anyone who's feeling a little bit down about the market, I mean, there's not much we can do right now, but as a community and the team, what we can do is just keep building. So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. And so I'm really excited to sort of, now that we've demonstrated the utility of our token, get out and continue to sort of engage more publicly now. So consider this the beginning. Ryan, aka TheGobOne, is the first AMA we've done. So thanks for hosting us, and we really look forward to continuing to do these and getting the word out.
Awesome, perfect. Yeah, you guys are welcome back anytime for any major milestone updates, announcements. People are always welcome. So, all right, thanks for stopping by and taking the time. Appreciate it. That's going to do it for this AMA, guys. Take care out there. Thanks for all the questions. They were awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next one.